You promise yourself just one bite. Then the plate's empty, and you don't even remember deciding to keep going. None of that is an accident. It's exactly how your brain reacts to certain foods, and today we're breaking down every part of it. Dopamine. This is the chemical messenger that basically runs the whole show. Every time you eat something loaded with sugar, salt, or fat, your brain releases a little hit of dopamine, and that hit feels good, so your brain remembers it. Here's the surprising part though. Dopamine isn't really about pleasure, it's about wanting. It's the chemical that makes you crave the next bite before you've even swallowed the last one. Researchers have found that the dopamine spike from a sugary, salty snack can rival the spike from things we consider far more rewarding. And that's exactly why one chip never feels like enough. Your brain isn't asking if you're full, it's asking when the next hit is coming. Sugar. This one goes back further than you'd think. Our ancestors needed to find calorie-dense food fast, and ripe fruit, the original sugar source, meant quick energy and a better shot at survival. So our brains evolved to treat sugar like a reward, not a threat. But here's an interesting thing. Food companies figured this out decades ago, and they engineer products to hit what's called a bliss point, the exact amount of sweetness that lights up your brain the most. Think about how a cereal you loved as a kid can still make your mouth water today. That's not nostalgia, that's a finely tuned formula doing exactly what it was built to do. Salt. For most of human history, salt was incredibly hard to come by, so your body developed a built-in radar for it, one that rewards you the moment you taste it. A pinch of salt doesn't just make food taste better, it actually changes how your brain processes flavor, making everything around it taste richer too. Ever notice how a salty snack can make you want something sweet right after? That's not random. Salt and sugar work together to push the reward response even higher than either one does alone. So when fries and a soda show up in the same meal, that's not a coincidence. That's chemistry working exactly as designed. Fat. This is the one most people misunderstand. Fat doesn't have a single dominant taste, but it changes texture, and texture is a huge part of why food feels satisfying. Think about the difference between a baked potato and a French fry. Same vegetable, completely different experience. Because fat changes everything about how it feels in your mouth. Here's the wild part. When sugar and fat show up together, like in ice cream or a chocolate bar, they light up reward pathways in your brain even more strongly than either one does on its own. It's almost like your brain can't decide which signal to focus on, so it just turns the volume up on both. Food cues. These are the tiny signals around you that trigger a craving before you've even decided you're hungry. The smell of popcorn in a movie theater, the bright red of a fast food sign, the sound of a wrapper crinkling 2 rows over. Your brain picks up on these cues instantly and starts preparing your body to eat, sometimes before you've consciously noticed anything at all. Ever walked past a bakery and suddenly felt hungry, even though you just had lunch? That's a food cue at work. Companies know this too, which is why food commercials are timed for when you're already a little hungry, making the cue even more powerful. Quick question for you. What's the one food you can never seem to stop eating once you start? Drop it in the comments. I'm genuinely curious how different everyone's answer is going to be. Reward system. This is the network in your brain that ties everything together. Dopamine, sugar, salt, fat, and cues into one continuous loop. It's the same system that rewarded early humans for finding food, finding safety, finding connection. The problem is, that system was never built for a world where high-reward food sits on every corner, 24 hours a day. So instead of getting a small reward once in a while, like our ancestors did, your brain now gets hit with these signals constantly. And the more often that system fires, the more normal it starts to feel. until a regular meal just doesn't feel like enough anymore. Habit loop. This is the pattern your brain builds once a behavior gets repeated enough times. It works in 3 steps: a cue, a routine, and a reward. Maybe the cue is feeling bored, the routine is opening the fridge, and the reward is that quick hit of satisfaction. Repeat that enough times, and your brain stops thinking about it altogether. It just runs the loop on its own. Here's the part that surprises most people. The habit loop doesn't actually care what the reward is. It just cares that the pattern keeps repeating. That's why breaking a snacking habit isn't really about willpower. It's about interrupting the loop somewhere in the middle. Stress eating. When you're stressed, your body releases a hormone called cortisol, and cortisol does something interesting. It actually increases your appetite, specifically for foods high in sugar and fat. This isn't an accident. Your body is trying to calm itself down as fast as possible, and high-reward food does that quickly. Think about the last time you had a rough day. Did you reach for a salad, or did you reach for something sweet? Most people reach for the second one, and that's not a character flaw. That's your nervous system looking for the fastest comfort it can find. Emotional hunger. This is different from physical hunger in a few key ways. Physical hunger builds slowly and can be satisfied by almost any food, but emotional hunger shows up suddenly and usually demands something very specific, like a certain snack or a certain flavor. It often comes with a feeling attached: loneliness, boredom, sadness, even excitement. Here's a simple way to tell the difference. Physical hunger can wait. Emotional hunger feels urgent. The tricky part is that emotional hunger can feel just as real as physical hunger, which is exactly why it's so easy to confuse the two. Cravings. This is where everything we just talked about comes together. A craving isn't just about being hungry. It's your dopamine system, your habit loop, your stress response, and outside food cues all firing at once, pointing you toward one specific food. That's why a craving can feel so much stronger than regular hunger. It's not one system asking for food. It's several systems agreeing on the same answer at the same time. And once you understand that, cravings stop feeling like some mysterious force you can't control and start looking like exactly what they are: a very predictable pattern your brain has learned to repeat. If a craving has ever talked you into something at midnight, tell me what it was down in the comments. I promise you're not the only one.